Welcome, friends. Let's just do a little sound check. Let me know if you can hear me all right. Comment in the chat, please. We'll do a little live today. Answer some questions, some burning questions, because I know a lot of people have a lot of these burning questions, especially on Facebook recently. So I thought I'd come on here, I don't know for how long, and answer those questions and share a little bit about the brain dizziness connection, the brain sensitivity connection, the brain fatigue connection, and that sort of thing. So it's going to be a good live, and you're obviously here because you need to hear something. So I'd like you to place a little intention and on what you want to get from this live, and I do want to start with some questions. So how we'll do it is you question, I'll do my best to answer those questions, and then in between I will continue to give you the connections between brain and anxiety as we go. So I hope that's cool. I know a lot of people want to catch these lives, and I hope a lot of people are able to catch them because they're fun. Okay, we're having tea outside. All right. Didn't shave today. That's fine. Good. Can you guys hear me? Sound check. 1 2 1 2. Is it loud out here? Okay. Batuni just says yes. Sound is good. Okay. Is it too loud out, in my surrounding, or is my voice coming through strong enough for you to hear what I'm saying? Okay, sound is good. Sound is good. Okay, cool. Sound is good. Man, let's tackle this. Let's you know what? Let's take a massive step forward. First and foremost, right off the bat, I want you all to know what true warriors you really are. You wake up every single day, you take on the day with probably a host of different symptoms: mental confusion, bewilderment, trauma, laying stagnant in your body, and the difficulty of what may show up in the near future for that day. So I want you to know right off the bat that you are someone that I appreciate, right? I appreciate you, and I'm inspired by you. I used to be in your shoes. I know what it's like, and we can be drawn in so many different directions. So I hope that you've gotten to the point where you realize how important it is to focus your attention in on one or less than a handful of teachers, guidance, techniques, and really trying to simplify the process. So right off the bat, you are a hero. You are amazing. You are all those things. Even if you don't see it right now, soon you will. Okay, so let's get into some questions right off the bat here, guys. I got cat fur all over me. I mean, cats just... you know what? I actually think that the cat is some kind of a guardian angel of sorts, because it's getting freaky lately. I'm going to the bathroom, I'll close the door, cat's not there. I'm done, open the bathroom, look down, cat's there. I'm in the kitchen making something. Cat's there, right? I'm waking up in the morning. Cat's right in my face. I don't know. I think she's trying to protect me or something. But anyway, I don't know why I shared that with you. But here we go. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Please take notes. Notes are good. Adeline has a question here. And if I miss your question, please ask it again, as Adeline has, which is very, very good. And yeah, share the comments, guys. Just connect with one another. So the question is, can you talk about sleepiness from sleepiness without being tired? Okay, is it anxiety or just tired? Okay, so Adeline, let's connect this to the brain and the nervous system thing going on here. Okay, so um, fatigue, chronic fatigue, can play a leading role in your life during heightened times of anxiety and during the recovery phase. So you must understand that when you start to detox, when you start to diet the emotional body, right? What's happening is you're releasing things that the nervous system has wanted to hold on to for a very long time, which can bring up a lot of fatigue. Okay. So that's the first thing. If you are feeling quite tired, okay, tired and wired or just tired, more than anything, it's a sign for you that you have to begin to lessen the mental, emotional, behavioral, physical, spiritual commitments that you've had. For example, if you are the kind of person who has a difficulty making a firm decision and you're always fixating on the possibilities, that's eating up a lot of energy. Okay. If you are the kind of person that fluctuates emotionally, like, oh my God, there's this awesome show coming up today. I can't wait. I'm so excited to see the show. You're going up and then you're going down. You're feeling depressed or fearful because something happened in your life and your emotions are fluctuating like that. That's using up a lot of energy, right? If you're the kind of person that is taking on this healing journey from the perspective of doership, where you're saying, I have to keep doing more and more and more, and you're adding all of those to dos onto your healing, that's using up energy. So, what this tiredness is telling you basically is that you need to take a few steps back and you need to really start investigating where you're placing a lot of your energy that's being eaten up, and or if you've gotten to the place of more chronic fatigue and tiredness no matter what's going on, right, then that's your body's way of telling you that you're holding on to a lot of emotional weight that's showing up in the physical form. So no matter what, these are messages for you, and it's important that we get the message and we begin to make some shifts. When you make some shifts, don't expect change to occur right away, because you are a naturistic being. As things manifest, change in nature, that's the kind of approach that we're taking with our healing journey, one step at a time, one gentle step at a time. I also want to say, Adeline, that you've got to be very, very careful on how you speak to yourself. Okay. So if you speak to yourself in a way where you're always beating yourself up for mistakes or not being perfect enough, right, these sorts of things can weigh on you. So watch your self talk, be very gentle on yourself, allow yourself to make mistakes. You don't have to be perfect in every single situation. You can let people live their lives. You can live your life from a different place now. You can live your life from a place where you're no longer controlling every little aspect of what's going on in your life. Okay. So these are important um, points. Uh, Yeah, so it's nice that you're confirming that you're an overthinker, you're an overcalculator, You're hyper fixated on potential ideas, fixated on symptoms, emotions, and it's almost like you're very nitpicky as you go through the day. This is how I used to be. It's a lot of people like this, right? So it's very important to take some steps back and realize that, because there is a secondary gain issue here, right? So we think that overthinking is giving us good results. We think that overcalculating is keeping us from experiencing something that could go wrong in the body or other aspects of life. We've connected these anxiety habits to something good or some kind of protection. So the nervous system has convinced us that we have to live our lives in this level of stress and anxiety, or else something could go wrong, right? So it's very important that you understand that at this juncture for everybody here, the symptoms need reparenting, okay? The intrusive ideas need reparenting. Uh, the emotions that fluctuate need reparenting. When you're very impatient, that needs reparenting. When you're jealous, that needs reparenting, right? When you're looking out for something that could go wrong, that needs reparenting. So we have to be the parent to what our bodies and minds are actually telling us unconsciously. Okay, so we are reparenting the unconscious mind, we are reparenting the unconscious body. Very, very key perspective. Right? Anyone having tea? Does that help? If it helps, say it helps, and if it doesn't, say it doesn't. I'd love to hear from you. And even if you just grab something from that, I mean, that's enough. Uh, let's see here. Belfast, Northern Ireland, that's on the bucket list. My sister is off work with stress and she's being asked by her employer to come in and talk about it. I told her no. That needs a bit more context there, but I'm wishing your sister the best. This channel will help guide her. Okay, Philomena Maynell, that helped what I just said? Okay, cool. What's your favorite tea, Dennis? My favorite tea is the combination of reishi. What I do is I have like 300 capsules of reishi mushroom, and I open up those capsules. I use about 2 of them. Very high in polysaccharides, which is very, very important. I open the capsule, I put it in. I don't use tea bags because just the plastic and stuff doesn't really work well with my body. So, capsule, reishi tea, a little bit of lemon, a little bit of cayenne pepper, I'm good to go. It's weird. I'm weird. But reishi is my favorite. Yeah, reishi tea for sure. Because it's very earthy. As much as this is a goji tea and it's a bit fruity, right? But I'm not into fruity teas, but this one I don't mind. But most of the time I like that earthy taste, right? Let me try to center this here. There we go. Okay. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to scroll and answer some questions. Along those lines, we're talking about the brain connection here. What you're going through is a sensory processing issue, my friends. Most of you. You're going through a sensory processing issue, meaning your brain is sensing things wrongly. Okay? So your brain is sensing things wrongly. As the brain starts to process what you're taking in through your 5 senses, it starts to try to understand the information coming in, right? So right now, what you're seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, and smelling is actually coming in the form of threat rather than safety. And if it continues to come in the form of threat, then you're going to feel it in mind, you're going to feel it in body. And what we need to really understand is that as you go forward, you are actually retraining the brain to perceive through the 5 senses in a safe manner. In order to do that, I'm going to give you some really important pointers a little bit later on. But you must understand that you're going through this kind of flawed sensory processing. Does that make sense? Like sometimes you're going, well, why do I have this much anxiety? Why am I so tired? Why am I so dizzy? Dizziness is the top, right? We all know that symptom. Comment below if you're going through some degree of dizziness right now. Comment below or give the video a like. Doesn't mean you like it. Just so I know. How many dizzy people are there? Let's see here. Nick G, let me see this one here. Do you believe in mind over matter or matter over mind? A bit more context would be good, my friend. A little bit more context to that. Mind over matter or matter over mind? Well, I'm pretty much a mind over matter kind of guy. In my experiences working with this in the last 15 years, uh, I have seen some amazing things happen in people's lives when they start to emotionally invest in new ideas. So when they start to emotionally invest in new uh, ways of thinking about things. So I do believe mind can override matter 100%. I mean, a good example of that is mind emotion combined to bring about physical healing. I've seen it so many times that I'm at the point now where I believe it's the most important thing for your physical body. So absolutely, mind over matter. Bang, bang. Let's see here. Let's take a sip, guys. Woo! Beautiful day. I just got these today. I got these for sleeping because there's a lot of construction going on around my place. These are pretty cool. What are they? They are what's the name of them? Me Bobo. Me Bobo. These are earplugs. They're not Bluetooth. I am not convinced on Bluetooth. So they're just earplugs. Really good for construction noises, or if you live in an area where it's really noisy and you're kind of sensitized to that sort of thing. These are good. These are really good. Yeah. Okay, anyway, what am I doing here? Let's see. Whoever, whatever. How to deal with never-ending "what if I lose my job" anxiety. I've had it my entire life. Well, here's how you deal with it. You deal with it by not dealing with it. What that means is that you don't have a "what if I lose my job" anxiety, because your anxiety started before you got the symptoms, mind and body. Right? So what you need to focus on here is to understand that even if you lose your job, things will either stay the same or get better for you. And what that means is that there you have an over controlling pattern going on. So when you start to give up control a lot of the times and let things be, and that means at an emotional level, you can behave differently all you want. But if you are not emotionally invested in the idea that you can allow your job to be there for as long as it wants to be, for example, and you emotionally invest in that, then you no longer have concern over whether you're going to lose your job or something else is going to happen in your life. It's all about that rope that we keep tugging on very tightly, that we don't want to let go, right? So That's very, very important. It's more so a control thing rather than what if I lose my job thing. So I would look at the roots of when that started. Obviously, it's very common in childhood when this sort of thing started, right? Childhood experiences where a lot of our experiences we felt out of control. We weren't allowed to do the things we wanted to do the way we wanted to do them. We were always put in our place. We were always told what is true and what's not based on other people's beliefs. So this is a good opportunity for you. Dizziness, yep. Yeah, Kyle, in relation to OCD, we have connected a large amount of safety perceptions to the OCD. Okay. And because we've connected safety to the habits of OCD, that has created unknowingly, a lot of tension in the body. So many of our symptoms come down to tension, but when we look at ourselves from the inside, we don't realize how tense we really are from one day to the next. We think it's just normal the way we are, the way we sit, the way we stand, the way we scrunch our face, the way we concentrate on things, these sorts of things. We're always holding a tremendous amount of tension that tends to be released through emotional reframing on this channel or somatic processes that you can do as well. And so we get to a point where we realize, holy smokes, I am holding a lot of tension in my body. So it all comes down to safety. And what is interesting is that when a lot of anxiety sufferers who have been invested in tension and anxiety for a long period of time, when they start to feel a lack of control, right, and a high degree of uncertainty, they start to get afraid and they convince themselves go back to the anxiety and the over controlling ways. So now that's just the way I am. I'm just a perfectionist. I'm just an over controller. I'm just to this. I'm just to that. Right? No, you do those things out of a need for safety. So if I'll give you an example in my life, when I started to realize that these habits around OCD were things that were eating up a lot of my energy reserves, right? I started to disconnect it from keeping me safe and connect it to using up too much energy, right? And so when I started to see it from a unhelpful perspective, it started to dissipate and I no longer was called to do those same habits. Right? How do I get rid of the fear of losing control, such as when driving or even in a business meeting, just freaking out in front of coworkers? Well, there's a number of ways to go about this, right? So, some practical things, the fear of losing control. I do have a mindfulness driving session, Camilla, on this channel. So, you want to put that on either before you're about to take a drive or during your driving. Okay. Hopefully, it doesn't distract you too much from driving. And in terms of the business meeting or anything like that, I would implement the two things. One is the future reframing session on this channel. Okay. And secondly, it's the gray room. So, what gray room does when you do gray, all you have to do is put gray room, the anxiety guy, and you'll see it come up as first video. What gray room does is it cleans out those beliefs that are causing those symptoms in the body, right? So what we need to do is we don't look at the symptom and say, how do I get rid of the symptom? Underlying that symptom, there are a bunch of core beliefs stuck in the subconscious mind and body that are leading you to the effect of having these symptoms and having these worries. So those are the two things: future reframe, gray room. You do those two, you're going to be just fine in a short period of time, I promise. Uh, in relation to brain, and we're doing brain retraining a little bit here, right? Your brain right now is predicting danger constantly. And this predicting of danger contributes to dizziness, it contributes to fatigue, and it contributes to other symptoms, of course, to health anxiety as well. Okay. So, because your brain, it's important to understand this, because your brain is always predicting danger in the immediate environment or a future environment, we must ask ourselves, when did this begin? Who was I with? What experiences have led my brain to interpret everything as being dangerous that I'm picking up through my five senses? Does that make sense? Comment below. So now we're doing a bit of investigating. It's worth doing this investigative work, my friends, right? Because our job is to start proving safety to the brain. And we do that through a number of ways that I'm going to mention. Of course, one of the most powerful ways is through the surrender sessions. Comment below if you're doing the surrender sessions or have added it to your daily life already. All you have to do is put surrender sessions anxiety guy here and go through that process a number of times each day, right? And so that's one form of brain retraining because it's connected to what's known as somatic tracking, right? So you're tracking things going on in your body rather than judging the things that are going on in your body. Let's see here. I'm glad the internet's working. Okay, let's see. I'll just scroll to see if there are any questions I missed. I have provided a link with a code here for everybody. Just go to the top of the comment, code healing11, and the link there to the Anxiety Guy programs. I mean, these programs are the most direct way that I can take you from where you are to where you deserve to go. So, if you're confused about the process and you're just frustrated with the constant dealing of what's going on in mind and body in relation to anxiety, just yeah, go visit the programs page. I'll leave this code up for a little bit here. Use that code and just really start committing to the program that you're going to do there and take over. Yeah. Whoever, whatever. Dennis, are you tired of where are you really from? Question. No. No, no, not at all. I was born in the Netherlands in a city called Utrecht. I don't speak any Dutch, unfortunately, anymore at least. Uh, Most of my family is from Turkey, and I lived my whole life in Canada, and now I live in Dubai. There it is, laid out for you. That's all you need to know. I did not plan to wear the surrender shirt today, just so you know. Let's see here. Um, if you don't mind just commenting on the biggest moment of clarity or the biggest more than anxiety moment you've gotten from this live. What is the biggest more than anxiety moment you've gotten from this live so far? comment below. Was it something in related to your flawed sensory system? Something related to brain retraining? And let's get into some more practical things here, okay? Okay, um, so in relation to symptoms, my friends, okay. Uh, okay, sure. How's life after anxiety? Can you just go out and do anything you want? Yeah, I can. There was a time in my life where I couldn't even leave my bedroom. There was a time in my life where getting in my car was like you moments away from driving through hell. And meeting people was a no no. Life after anxiety is, there's a lot of gratitude that comes with life after anxiety. Um, but I got to tell you, I mean, it wasn't really straightforward or easy for me. It wasn't. There was a lot of trial and error. I had over 60 supplements in my cabinet. Um, I would be at the doctor's office. I actually exhausted all the physicians in my local area um, every second week. I went from panic disorder to health anxiety to generalized anxiety to deep levels of depression. Round and round and round I went. And it wasn't until I started to look a little bit deeper into what was really going on, and I started to see things from the perspective of my own inner child, that I realized that it's absolutely important for me to understand that what the body is doing is basically simply asking questions. And I, through my life experience, had the opportunity to answer those questions. And I didn't realize that I had to be the one answering those questions. And sometimes I answer them verbally out loud. Sometimes I answer them in my mind. Sometimes I answer them through some kind of a somatic response, either through breathing or something like that. But surrender sessions for me got me to a place where I was no longer afraid of my symptoms. And that's a big step. When you're no longer fearful of your symptoms, then you can place them all under the same umbrella that says, well, my nervous system is extremely sensitized. And once you realize that, you can start to go, well, I don't have to live here. This can be a place that I visit for now, and I can start to give myself that love and gentleness that I've craved from others for so many years. Because all the things that we're looking for from other people are things that we can give back to ourselves. And it's not until we realize that we actually start healing. I started to do things slower. I started to be more gentle on myself. I worked less. If you have the opportunity to do such things, it makes it easier. I put myself first rather than others first. There was quite a few lifestyle changes along with um, deeper healing works that I did. But if I can do it, anyone can do it. And I know that you're on the right track. So that's what life after anxiety is like. Life after anxiety is comes with a tremendous amount of gratitude and a lot of lightness because you do so much emotional, purging, emotional detoxing. So comment below if you're going through one or a multitude of symptoms right now. No, you don't have to fully heal, not necessarily. All the things that you're supposed to do or that you should be doing can be done while you're healing. Right? So the idea now is to see this as a bit of a journey for yourself. Like this is a journey now. This is something that is calling for my attention, and we can start to do the things that we're supposed to do. So if you're going through, comment below if you're going through one or a multitude of symptoms now, just so I know. Okay, one more question here. Let's see, I have a question. What happens to your anxiety tolerance before versus after you come out of it? Yeah. Was there a difference in your personality to the point where people start seeing? Absolutely. Yes, yes, yes. Um, while, for my own personal experience, you're asking, along with so many people I've worked with in the last 15 years, my tolerance to everyday stressors changed. So things that were not worth the conflict back then would spur on a lot of anxiety. I was very sensitized to sound, sensitized to smells, sensitized to things being too close to me, sensitized to blue light. So visually sensitized, auditorily sensitized, kinesthetically sensitized. I was very sensitized back then, and I didn't have any tolerance for stress. So if something happened, for example, an Amazon package showed up 2 days later, it was as if, you know, my world was falling apart. Or back in those days, if someone didn't necessarily agree with something I had to say, I felt like it was a smack in the face. Like, how could they, that comes from the ego mind, right, back in the day. So my tolerance for everyday stress was very, very low, to the point where this is what a lot of people do is they start to distance themselves from all environments, right? You get to a point where you say, I can't hang out with more than this many people, crowded spaces. If it's too loud, I can't go there. I can't drive too long. I can't drive too far. We place all these restrictions on ourselves. And I'll be honest with you, that's very normal. Like, it's very, very normal to do that because to some degree, your nervous system is very highly sensitized to potential danger, right? That's why the tolerance is so low to stress. But on the other hand, the unconscious mind is making it worse than what it potentially can be, right? So it's saying things like, oh, it's always going to be like this environment is always like that. It likes generalizations. So if you find that your brain is making a lot of generalizations about things, it's worth questioning those things. Because as much as you are highly sensitized right now and not tolerating stress, it's very important that you start to become more flexible in the face of stress. And what that comes down to is your initial response to a stressor, right? How are you responding to everyday stress? Now, we've got a ton of different options in relation to how we can respond to keep us a bit more flexible rather than a stressor happens and boom, chronic fatigue hits or the anxiety hits or that sort of thing, right? I know a lot of people are in that space. Um, Let me see here. So, yes, now in my life now, stress is there is no such thing. I mean, I'll be honest with you. Uh, Everything that happens in our lives is so fleeting, comes and goes, including our own lives. So, with that perspective in mind, what reason is there for me to ever get caught up in anything? It's just going to go as quickly as it came. So, if there is a perceived problem or this and that, you know, it comes onto my shoulder and leaves just as fast as it came because I've trained myself to not be emotionally invested in the initial fear. Initial fear, something went wrong, oh God, blah, blah, blah. The mind can play a lot of tricks on people. But as long as you are not emotionally invested in those initial ideas, what's going to happen is you are going to start to pull away from that, right? Fluff all over me. You're going to start to pull away from that world. I also recommend not being on social media for too long. I recommend really paying close attention to what you're listening to, what you're watching, because as much as fun and entertainment is connected to such movies and reality shows today, it's actually adding to your sensitivity. Okay, so you have to be very careful in protecting yourself to some degree, but at the same time, retraining the brain that this particular environment is safe, and here's why. Does that make sense? Comment below. Dignified Dan, good morning to you, my friend. You are very welcome. Any tips on catastrophizing, overthinking? Yes, humor. That came to me first. So when the catastrophic thought shows up, Daffy Duck shows up with it. Now it's not so catastrophic. That's one thing you can do. The other thing you can do is you can take yourself out of the mind and see the catastrophic thought from the outside. And as you look at it from the outside, you may start to realize things you wouldn't realize if you were actually emotionally invested in it, right? So now I'm on the outside looking at it, going, okay. And why are we doing this? Again, I'll say the words, because we're trying to get ourselves out of being emotionally invested in those ideas. Those ideas continue to lead your thinking and are front and center as a perception throughout your day because you've been so emotionally invested in them in the past. That's why they're there. When you become emotionally invested in gratitude, when you become emotionally invested in everything is fleeting, when you become more emotionally invested in safety, what sort of ideas do you think are going to cross your mind consistently now? Different ideas that are opposite of the fearful ones. So you have to be very aware that you're not becoming emotionally invested in catastrophe. Okay. But if you're becoming frantic over this and that, then the brain goes, oh, that idea is of number one priority and importance to him. Therefore, it must continue and be front and center in this person's mind. Okay. So we can use humor, we can use stepping out, looking at it for a few seconds from the outside. And in terms of the cognitive function, we can use the word but. Not like a person's butt, but yeah, the worst could happen, but I've also been in that place so many times before. Hmm. So that's a verbal response or a mental response that can work very, very well over time. Let's see here. Yeah, self-talk can go a long way for sure. Does different foods seem to affect anyone else? Oh, asking everybody else. Like salt seems to be bad for me. Interestingly, the foods that don't work well for the body come down to a lot of trauma as well, from what I've seen. Um, if there is a perceived danger feeling or a fear centered feeling in response to eating a particular food, it can create a lot of havoc in the body and mind. So, my 2 cents on that. This will be on replay CBD, yes. But I do want to mention a few things in relation to a brain retraining connected to danger mode, if I may. Okay, so yes, the brain is perceiving things as being dangerous all the time. Okay, and that can fuel chronic anxiety, which can lead to chronic fatigue, so on and so forth, dysregulated nervous system. Next thing you know, you've got all sorts of things going on in the body, right? So, what do we want to do? What do we want to do? Well, first things first, starting today, and I've said this in my podcast before, but it's worth repeating again and again. Your unconscious thoughts, okay, your bodily sensations and symptoms, your emotions when they fluctuate, are not telling you what to do. They're asking you, how should we see this scenario? How should we see this situation? They're asking you for guidance. They're not telling you what something means, right? So you may think that a bodily symptom is telling you that, oh, the dizziness is connected to some kind of brain problem, right? I better go get it physically checked out, which, of course, structurally, you should have all that done, right? But in that moment, the dizziness, the brain fog, the vibrations going off in the body, the heaviness in your legs, the fatigue, all of these things are coming from the perceptions of danger that have become automatic for you, right? And because they've become automatic, now you're at the point where you've tried a few things and you're going, well, they don't work for me. When in fact, you don't understand yet the mindset you need that the body is asking for. Guide me, train me, condition me, show me that life is safe. Life is It's okay for me to go through all life experiences in a safe manner. The subconscious mind slash, we call it the lower self in the Health Anxiety University. Lower self, inner child, is asking for your conscious mind to tell it what something means. Now, this is the mindset. This is when you start to no longer fear your symptoms. You start to go, oh, there's that symptom. What could this symptom possibly be asking me for, and what is it trying to do for me? Well, that symptom is trying to get you to not communicate with that person you're about to communicate with, right? So, thank you, symptom, for looking to protect me from an unfamiliar experience, right? However, now I'm going to take the reins and I'm going to guide you in this very moment, and I'm going to show you that that experience is particularly safe. And one of the ways to do that is to basically slow down. When you meet that person, you slow down. And when your mind or your focus wants to be fixated on the symptom, you go back to the conversation, right? And you slow your speed down, and you don't come at it from a people pleasing perspective, because that just adds to your stress bucket. People pleasing, it plays a very big role in your stress bucket that's already full. Okay, so there are things that we can do from a physical perspective, from a mental perspective, from a behavioral perspective, but no matter what's the mindset? Thank you for the protection, and let me guide you in some way to show you that this particular environment is safe. That's it, my friends. That's the mindset. Does that speak to you? Comment below. Before you get into techniques and what do I do, what do I do, what do I do? No, 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 no. There's no doing, right? Because doing, if you always look for what to do, then you haven't evolved out of your ego mind yet. You're still allowing your lower self to guide you and guide you to who it wants you to be. So that's called doership. Tell me what to do. What's the technique to do? What do I do for X? What do I do for Y? You're only going to get temporary relief if you don't have the proper mindset underneath. Let's see if that speaks to anybody. Is there something in there that helps you right now to understand something more deeply? And then, okay, yeah, sound is good. Um, I will just mention one thing, actually, two things. Okay. And this goes hand in hand with these surrender sessions on this channel. There's two things that your body wants, and there's things that your brain needs in order for you to, in order for the brain to perceive things safely rather than in a threatening manner. The first thing is you want to acknowledge your symptoms, acknowledge the things that you've been running away from, right? Acknowledge the things that you've been trying to find an answer to. And you're probably going, well, yeah, I've acknowledged them. No, you haven't acknowledged them. You've been frantically reacting to them. Okay. Frantically reacting to your symptoms or anything in relation to your dysregulated nervous system will only tell the brain that, yes, there's danger in this environment, in this situation. Okay. So we want to acknowledge them. We want to close the eyes if we have the opportunity to do so. We want to acknowledge them and we want to feel them. I acknowledge these symptoms. I feel the trembling in the body. I feel the head heaviness. I feel the swaying. I acknowledge all these symptoms. I'm here for you. I'm here to guide you now. This particular environment is safe. I'm not asking for these symptoms to go away right away. I'm more gentle with you. Symptoms, you can go away at your own time and speed. I just want you to know that I hear you and we are safe. If you have no other technique, but you do the surrender sessions each and every day for the next 3 months, your life is going to change. Almost Zen. Finally caught a live stream. Nice. There you are. Ashokan, happy to see you as well. Uh, okay. What's the best food for cooling the flames of anxiety? I've never heard that before. Awesome. The best food for cooling the flames of anxiety. Well, in particular, foods. Well, let's go back to the nutrients that are necessary to start taming the nerves, right? So you want to make sure that you have zinc. Okay, you want to get your zinc in. You want to get your B12. You definitely want to get your B12s in. I'm a big fan of L-theanine. Very, very good. L-theanine, excellent for anxiety. Um, you definitely want to get your magnesium in. Okay, I usually, if you have a tub, right, I usually do it through the Epsom salt baths, for example. Um, very, very good. So those are a few. Now you can get these through avocados. You can get them through pumpkin seeds. Okay. Um, Those are some of the things that I would start with regularly. This is your first live stream, and it's 4:50 a.m. Well, we're 55 minutes in here, so cool. Um, Mr. OPT man, yeah, keep the questions coming, guys. I work really well when I don't have to scroll, and I can just go from one question to the next. I've been in an anxiety cycle for 3 weeks now. I'm on a holiday. I get anxiety when I walk or when I eat. How do I get rid of this cycle? I don't even can't even go to the airport soon. Well, first thing is you don't try to get rid of it. Okay. You don't try to get rid of anything that pops up in relation to anxiety. The trying to get rid of it signals to the brain that you need these symptoms. And the more you're afraid of the symptoms, the more sensitized you're going to become. Okay, that's brain retraining the wrong way. So, practically, what you want? Well, get into some parasympathetic breathing, breathing in for 2 or 3 seconds, and a long exhale through pursed lips. So, it looks like this. Notice how long the exhale is, right? So I'm spurring on, I'm activating the parasympathetic system, which then communicates safety in the environment. So the breathing is important, slowing down your speed in the face of anxiety is important. The mindset is very important because anything that comes with anxiety is a call for guidance. It's a call for guidance. Oh, there's a symptom. Oh, it's asking for some kind of guidance. Oh, maybe I'm doing something in the old ways. I need to make sure that I do it in the new way now, right? Because we live, a lot of anxiety people are high achievers. They're high functioning individuals, but to actually get out of that dysregulated nervous system, you've kind of got to be a low functioning individual, right? I tell this to people going through my programs where you can't live your life as a Ferrari anymore. Your nervous system won't allow it, right? From now on, you're a Hyundai Sonata, you're a Honda Civic, right? So you live your. That doesn't mean it's boring. It just means that that's the kind of message that your nervous system needs in order for it to configure its old beliefs. Rob M. loved your music suggestions for anxiety. Could we have another few for this time of year? Hmm. Rob, you have gotten my suggestion for the artist known as Ajeet, Ajeet. Yes. Um, I don't really listen to music that often, to tell you the truth, and I just realized that right now. Weird. Um, Hold on. I listened to some. Well, this isn't going to be that helpful for anxiety, but music suggestions. I'll tell you the truth. I find myself listening to a lot of ambient music. Um, I find myself listening to certain solfeggio frequencies. You can look those up if you want. Solfeggio frequencies. I'm I'm more drawn to anything that reminds me of naturistic environments now. As far as music goes, I'm not too keen on. I don't know, but I'll have to get back to you on some of those. I do have some more artists that align with the artist Ajit, who is very, very good for, um, you know, calming the nervous system stuff. Let's see here, Mr. Optman. So, what to do with dizziness? It scares me and makes me avoid things like going to the bank. Well, if it continues to scare you, then you're basically telling the brain that your present and future environments are scary, and therefore the dizziness will show up. So with dizziness, what tends to happen is, when we think about PPPD, which is this chronic vestibular dizziness that a lot of anxiety sufferers go through, starts off with one particular environment or a host of traumatic environments, or sorry, situations, experiences, which can cause that dizziness. And the dizziness is there for protective reasons, as we know, right? So, what can you do with the dizziness? You can like it. I know that sounds really weird, but my immediate answer to you is start liking the dizziness. Back in the day, when I was going through the initial dizziness, it was overtaking my life. It was taking up all my focus, taking up all my energy. Uh, you know, it wouldn't allow me to live my life until I got to the point where I realized, well, I like an alcoholic beverage here and there, and this dizziness is very similar to me being buzzed by a glass of wine. So there's the dizziness. I no longer have to drink a glass of wine. Hooray! Right? And that sort of emotional neutrality towards the dizziness is the thing that made it go away for me. Right? That in conjunction with the brain retraining that you see on my channel very, very often. So I would start with that. Those are very, very important, Mr. Op, Mr. Opman. JL, you have caught a live stream with me. Yes, yes, yes. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, let's see here. Well, let's have some more tea first. Cheers, everybody. Much love, gratitude for your trust, and so many blessings coming your way because you have decided to be here with me, with us, and taking the leap from fear to trust and love. So I commend you. You inspire me. Robert, I say hello to you, man. You are awesome. Thank you. And when I say this, I hope you get so much goosebumps. Happy feelings. Yes, always, my friend. Thank you. Let me see here. Okay, so Tom Grandma knows muscle twitches, especially in lower legs and feet. How can I help reduce this? Okay, so muscle twitches have a lot to do with prolonged tension in the body. So I would recommend TRE, trauma release exercise, for that particular muscle twitches. Give it about 3 months before you see any benefits. Uh, but the muscle twitches, obviously related to dysregulated nervous system many times. Make sure you get to the physician and rule out anything else it may be connected to, as we should. But tension, your stress bucket being full, um, over reliance on the mind to solve problems, you know, really, really connected. Magnesium will help you with the muscle twitches as well, but again, give it some time. Those should be helpful. Hitesh, love your t-shirt. Captures the essence of everything I've heard about anxiety recovery. Ah, there you go. I love you guys. It's awesome. Let's see here. What do we got? Dignified Dan, I agree. The surrender sessions are amazing, Dennis. Keep them up. You're very welcome. I will continue making them for you. If you haven't started them, add them to your mornings, nights, or both. As I mentioned, mini vacations throughout the day. Great time for a surrender session. Those surrender sessions will benefit you in a multitude of ways. Dennis, when you speak, I get goosebumps. Whoa! Because I feel everything you say. Oh! Thank you. Thank you for your trust. Appreciate it. I do, Robert. All right, let me try to find another question here. Mr. Opman, did that help? CBD, I used to love driving alone, listening to music, etc. I get so panicky that I avoid it. I miss it. Step one, go to your car, sit in your car by yourself, put a piece of music in your car that you really enjoy, and don't drive, but just sit in your car. What we have to do is make peace with our environments again. Okay, so you have to make peace with your car before you make peace with the roads, before you make peace with the other drivers. So, this is kind of the step by step process. Let's see here. What is a surrender session? A surrender session is a somatic experiencing or a somatic tracking process that you can do for the roots of your anxiety, for the effects of your anxiety, which are the symptoms, and to create safety perceptions in your environment. That's what a surrender session is. And you can do it anytime, anywhere, eyes open or closed, preferably closed. And you can find it on YouTube by putting in the right keywords. Almost then. Please, guys, use Dennis Surrender Series. It's money in the bank for your anxiety. Thank you. Glad it's helping you. I did put a code up here for anybody ready to start the programs with me. I also put the link up there and the code. Go ahead and use that today. I'll take it down pretty soon. If you want my help moving forward step by step, those programs are there for you. It will give you a daily to do that will progressively contribute to your healing and your recovery. So I highly recommend checking out the programs page if you are at your wit's end with this thing. Okie dokie. MIG559 says, train your brain to not overreact to everything. Okay. Sorry, guys. Robert, let me see here. Okay. Okay. Dennis, were you medicated in your journey? Medicated for over a decade, and been off meds 6 months. And I'm facing my triggers. Robert, there was a time in my life where I was taking Ativan to the point where I was slurring my words, and then I realized that it just wasn't practical anymore, and I wasn't able to function throughout the day. So I progressively stopped taking the Ativan. Then I had taken Ativan only for sleep purposes because with a dysregulated system, I realized how important resetting my circadian rhythm was and getting the right depth of sleep. So I would take Ativan just a little bit prior to sleep, but that's as far as the medication journey went for me. Um, my healing is, well, not completely, but almost completely done holistically from a mental, emotional cleansing process that my physical body has appreciated. Um, so that's kind of my journey. What I was always, of course, every week asked to do antidepressants, but every time I would take one of those things, my body basically started screaming like, no, right? And doctor said, well, push through it, right? And intuitively, I just felt, no, this isn't right for me. It might be right for other people, of course. There's a time and place for it, I believe. But for me, the antidepressants didn't work, and that's that. Okay, so in relation to, some people may not have. Can you guys hear the alarm? You never know what can happen on these lives. I don't know if you've been with me for a decade or so, but crazy things have happened on these lives. Yeah, that's my old body right there. That's my old body giving off symptoms because a cat just ran across the road. All right, sorry about that, guys. But anyway, um, where were we? Stopped. See? Did a surrender session. Yes. Okay. Anyway. See, though? But you see, right? Me 20 years ago. 20 years ago. God, I'm getting that old. Yeah, 20 years ago. If I would have heard something like that, whether I was consciously aware of the alarm or unconsciously my body just reacted to it, either way, I would be in a frenzy that would take my anxiety into the next situation that I was in. So now it's just humor, right? Now it's just funny. What is for me now? I look back and I appreciate the anxiety. I really do because I realize back then, right? And everything has a potential answer to it. And now, instead of me looking for the answer mentally or trying to do something frantically to solve something, I'm a lot more trusting and I let things be. Okay. Okay. I don't even know what I was saying. Was I chemically dependent on Ativan? I was for a very short period of time. Well, I wasn't chemically dependent. I was more mentally dependent in the form that in the way where I convinced myself that if I didn't take that amount of Ativan for that day, then something physically could go wrong, or someone could see through into my anxiety. I could get fired from the job or this and that. So I was more mentally dependent than chemically. I wasn't chemically dependent on it. That's why I was able to taper off of it without too much, hassle. As I mentioned, I do believe that there's a time and place for it because I've seen people in dire straits. I've seen the worst of the worst, especially when I do a lot of emotional reframing work with people, where we clean out the layers that are causing the anxiety and all the things disrupting a person's life. I mean, so yeah. Yes. Let's see here. Okay. Okay. So I can continue answering questions here. Yeah, let's just do that. But I did want to make sure that everybody understood three things. One is that anxiety is a call for guidance. Okay, so write that down. That's your mindset. Two, it's important that you acknowledge the anxiety that shows up in any form, whether it be mind or body. Okay, and three, it's important that you feel them. It's important that you allow yourself to feel what it is you're feeling, and it's important for you to not um, take an intrusive or catastrophic idea and to try to distract yourself from it, but again, to acknowledge something like that and to give it the guidance that it needs, right? The catastrophic idea is not telling you that something is catastrophic. The catastrophic idea is a perception. It's like sitting with someone and that someone has an opinion about something that's different from your opinion, right? So when you start to see it that way, you start to go, oh, catastrophic idea. Oh, my brain has an opinion about this. And that opinion is based on the programming that others have put me under for so many years, possibly from childhood forward, right? So, oh, my brain's having an opinion. Oh, my body's having an opinion. Oh, my emotions are having an opinion. It won't scare you so much when you think about it in this way, right? And that's where the magic lies, when we stop becoming so emotionally invested in fear. Okay. Okay. So it's no longer, I'm going to get in my car. What if I get into an accident? If I get into an accident, then my car will be totaled. If my car is totaled, then I'll have no way to get around in the future. If I can't get around in the future, I'll lose my job. You can see how things escalate, right? If we take on the opinion of the unconscious mind, okay? If we take on the opinion of the flawed perceptions of the brain, right? But if we look at that and we don't emotionally invest in the initial idea, what if I get into a car accident? Okay, brain, I see your perspective. I see your opinion. I acknowledge that. However, as you can see from the speed that I'm walking to my car, everything around me I'm perceiving as safe now. As I slowly turn that beautiful calming music on, I'm starting to feel a sense of enjoyment getting in this car, right? I put a smile on my face. Even if it's fake, a smile is okay. It's better than a frown, right? That sends a signal of safety again. And now my speed of driving is one that is a safe speed of driving. And now the brain is taking notes, going, oh, based on this person's physical response, based on what they're saying out loud, based on the way they're doing things, I guess driving is safe, right? Yeah, future reframe. Do the future reframe on this channel. If you have a certain phobia of something or an upcoming fear of something, do the future reframe. Future reframe, future reframe. Every single time you're hesitant about something or anxious about something coming up in the future. And that's just going to start to rewire the brain in a different way. That's what we're talking about today. We're talking about the brain being in danger mode, how your brain is predicting danger constantly, and how this contributes to dizziness, fatigue, and other symptoms. Of course, health, anxiety as well. So we're talking about danger mode. I bet I'm pretty loud. People are getting a session here today around me. I don't know. Okay. Well, I'm alone. Greetings from Montenegro, Kimi. Welcome. JL, I don't know what that means. Let's see here. I didn't struggle with weight gain, Bill. during my anxiety days. No, that's something I didn't struggle with. No. Okay. Hello, is it normal to not excitement in the stomach, especially in the morning? And why do I feel it until I eat? It happens, and I feel that I have come a long way on my anxiety journey. It's nice to hear. Sometimes it freaks me out. Okay. It never lasts more than 20 seconds. Okay, so that's a particular symptom that you're going through. What you need to remember is that a high amount of fear or a high amount of excitement are both treated equally the same by a sensitized nervous system. They're both dangerous. Okay, so you wake up and your emotions are fluctuating and you're really looking forward to the day and you're super excited, right? That could drain you as much as the fear can. That's why if you're going through my programs or doing the surrender sessions, we like to stay here. And that takes a certain amount of contentness, the gratitude of it all. Um, we're no longer led here, there, and everywhere, and people telling us how we should feel about things. The emotions are no longer fluctuating. But is it normal in this world? Yeah, it is quite normal. I've, I've, I've heard it often. I've heard it often. Yeah. How old was I when I developed an anxiety disorder? 3. And that's where I had to look first to start my healing. I know exactly the experiences that have led to the diagnoses and the labels later on as anxiety disorders. And they started around the age of 3. And I had to clean those out. I had to reframe those experiences. I had to show the inner child that that experience had nothing to do with any mistakes that I made back then or the following experiences. And that took a little bit of some time and digging. Rick, you're very welcome. Oh, I didn't answer your question? Okay. You're going to unsubscribe? Okay. Missed that one. Um, why are mornings so bad with anxiety right when you wake up, especially? Bill, there could be a higher level of, cortisol or yeah, stress hormones running through your body in the morning. Uh, there could be a feeling of something I'm about to do is outside of my comfort zone. Therefore there's a higher amount of stress and anxiety in the morning. Um, so again, it's important to remind ourselves that these sorts of threat perceptions and danger mode in the morning can be worked with rather than run away from, right? And as long as we have that mindset, we're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. Um, I know you learned about surrender sessions today, so I would recommend doing those in the morning to send safety signals. What age did I first have symptoms? Oh, the age that I recognized my symptoms? Yeah, I was about in my mid 20s. Yeah. Let's see. Unable to think and feeling blank was very severe initially, but now following your surrender has helped my body heal. Now nothing is as intense. That's wonderful to hear. I love it. I love it. So there's a good example of someone regulating the nervous system. Right. So that's great. I love that. And now Shantanu, I bet your whole perception over life from one moment to the next has changed, and the way you approach things have changed. Your speed of movements have changed. Correct me if I'm wrong. Uh, that tends to be the case, though, and it's wonderful. Yeah, yeah, Bill, anytime. If I can find it, I'll answer it. Can't please everybody. I stopped that long time ago. Okay. Oh, JL, thank you for sharing that morning affirmations video. You did that for 30 days. Okay, well, that's very, very good, Bill. So you could take JL's advice there. Roman. Yes, sir. I don't know how the kids do it these days. Good to see you, Roman. Yes. Yes. Okay. Also, fear of losing memories or happy attachment is no more, and I still have everything happy I fought to keep. I'm so proud of you. It warms my heart. It really warms my heart to hear success stories like that. I love it. I love it. Uh, let's see. Mopansu. I'm finding that doing helps more than doing nothing, or rather having too much time to ruminate. Let's see. Nindi, I missed that question. Let's see here. My doctor prescribed me medication. Okay, alprazolam. Now it's been 3 months on the medication. I wonder when should I taper down, or I should just follow my doctor's advice. You have to follow your doctor's advice. I can't advise you on that, Nindy. I cannot. I cannot. But if you have another question in relation to that, I'd love to answer it. Um, I have given my own experience with that earlier, which may inspire you. Okay. If you want more lives, guys, give this one a like so I know that you are getting something from it. Has this been helpful in some way? If it has, shoot me a like. Likey. And I'll continue to do these likely on a Sunday because Saturday is our Health Anxiety University meetup. We have those every single week. Tremendous progress going on there. Uh, if you go to the link that I put here in the pin, I put the link there for the programs page and the code that you can use. On that website, there's the membership option. If you want to join the Health Anxiety University and join us weekly in our more intimate group, please go ahead and do that. I'll see you in the next meetup. Let's say here. Ugh, wear these for too long and I get long. Okay. My ears are pink. Whoa. Everything sounds much louder. Okay, sorry. Computer fast repair. Hi, Dennis. Would you say the anxiety is a nervous system fight or flight? Yeah, all intertwined. hmm You see, when the brain starts to fixate on danger, right, the entire nervous system starts to play a part. So these brain perceptions become mind perceptions become body perceptions, and everything happens very, very quickly. So if you're just trying to calm yourself down from anxiety, then you're always going to just be healing this at a symptom level. But our job is to heal ourselves from the point where before we started experiencing symptoms. Okay? So most people are here, right? Trying to fix anxiety from a symptom perspective. And here's when it started, right? Prior to the symptoms arising. If you take care of anxiety here, you're going to get symptom relief to some degree. If you take care of it here, right, then everything above it starts to fall. So we have to look beyond the symptoms, and we have to look to the points in our lives when we started to feel like our nervous systems were dysregulated. Not all nervous systems are the same. Two completely different nervous systems can go into the same environment. One can be absolutely sensitized and the other's having a great time. What does that tell you? Not that one is good and one is bad. It's that one has been trained and conditioned to be more sensitive than the other. Okay? And so we're on this channel through my programs, we're focusing on the roots of it. All right? Here's a symptom. That's when the symptoms start to dissipate, right? Okay, let's see here. 9 a.m. EST Saturday, JL. Also, each and every meetup has a recording that you can watch afterwards in the Health Anxiety University. But it's always nice to have people there. And it's really worth, doing what you need to do to get there every week. Because from what I can see, people are making tremendous progress. Talk about feel it to heal it. Yeah, okay. So, computer fast repair. Dennis, would you say most, if not all, symptoms are stress related and anxiety just makes it worse? Doctor told me that, but he is a family member anyway. Okay, so let me be very careful and how I respond. So, okay, so from my experience and everything, these symptoms are a way of showing the person that a number of different things, right? One is that they're carrying too much of the past emotionally in their physical body, so that can get quite heavy to the point where symptoms show up. That's why one of my mentors would always say most people are dieting the wrong body. They're dieting the physical body and not the emotional body. So these symptoms are a reflection of past feelings and experiences and emotions that are still living in the body. These symptoms are a reflection of a person's stress bucket being full in present time. So that means your needs are not being met, past, present. Uh, there's too much stress going on in your life. So basically, our stress bucket is full and it's overflowing. When it starts to overflow, we experience these symptoms. Okay, so that's what the symptoms are telling us. The symptoms can also tell us, even if our stress bucket isn't full, but we're quite sensitized beings, our nervous systems are quite sensitized, it may tell us that it doesn't feel comfortable in a particular environment, right? It doesn't feel comfortable in a restaurant, it doesn't feel comfortable driving or in a shopping mall. So the symptoms can tell us that as well, especially when dizziness starts to get worse. That's a big one right there. So these symptoms can tell us many different things, right? But it's important for you to understand, what are the symptoms trying to tell me? Because we can get into such a mode where we believe, like we start to believe that stress and anxiety is normal. Like it's normal to be this stressed out. It's normal to be this anxious. It's normal to be this fixated on things that could go wrong, right? So, but it's not normal. It just feels normal. Okay, so in relation to the symptoms, that's what I think. Lisa, it's nice to see you. It really is. Much love to you. Mm. Can I make a video on head anxiety or brain hypochondria? Uh, in connection to that, there's probably a number of videos out there already. So I would recommend looking out for those if you can. Star Wars stuff. I like it. Dennis, 6 years now of debilitating symptoms. They've gotten so bad that my entire face and head are in constant spasm. Does it make sense to just stay in bed rest? Yes, because yes, yes, yes. One of the things that in today's world that we don't give ourselves enough of is rest. But in order for us to give ourselves rest in a way where we don't feel guilty about it, we have to come at our healing from a self first model. Self first for me used to be selfishness. But I can't help anybody if I don't put myself first, right? So put yourself first and give back to your mind and body what it needs. A lot of the times with the dysregulated nervous system, chronic fatigue, and all that, right? What we really need is a lot of rest. And rest doesn't mean being in front of a computer screen. Rest doesn't mean playing video games. Those are still stimulating experiences that the brain has to configure in relation to what's going on and whether it's a danger to you. So rest means rest. It means doing nothing, right? That's why I meditate 2 hours a day, once in the morning and once at night. And this has gone on for years and years and years. So I give myself that one full hour in the morning, one full hour at night to be with my body, to be with my ideas, to in a non-stimulating dark environment. I am resting, right? I may not be sleeping, but I am resting. And some of the healthiest people in the world are the ones that have a regulated nervous system. So we need more parasympathetic in our lives. But in relation to what you said, yes, bed rest could be the very thing that you need. Give yourself that love, give yourself that time, and enjoy it. Tabitha, good morning to you, everybody. Let's say good morning to Tabitha. Morning, Tabitha. Here you are. Guys, we're approaching the end of this, so let us answer a few more. Oh, it's a good answer. Okay, Nindy, thank you for acknowledging that. Glad it spoke to you. Hey, good morning, Tabitha. Okay, can you talk about Jonelle Rodriguez? Can you talk about exhaustion and how to get through it? I think we touched on this a little bit ago. We can dive in a bit more. I'm no longer anxious, but I've been dealing with exhaustion doing simple tasks, and it's been discouraging. What's the exhaustion trying to tell you? Often we take on too much, even though it might not be that much. And for this particular stage, we need to take on less. So the exhaustion may be telling you that. It may be telling you that you're carrying around a lot of still some feelings and emotions towards other people from the past, and that needs to be um, acknowledged. Um, But in terms of the exhaustion, what you probably need a lot more of is what we told Star Wars stuff is rest. I mean, real rest. Not the kind of rest where you're laying in bed watching TV. That's not really rest, right? But I would acknowledge what the exhaustion is trying to tell you and what makes the exhaustion worse. Okay, and pay attention to those. Love you all. Um, have a wonderful day. I hope you enjoyed this live. I'm going to post it right now so that you can watch the full thing. All right, very, very good. And again, I'll keep this link up for the programs page where you can input the code Healing11 to get a discount on any one of the programs you'd like. And allow me to be your guide each and every day towards true and lasting healing through the programs page. Remember that you are more than anxiety, and the fact that you watch this live towards the till the end shows that I'm not that boring, and shows that there is something there that you really need to take to heart and put into action in your own life to keep supercharging this healing journey. And just know that you are loved, you are appreciated, my friends. You are the true heroes in this world. If I were to pinpoint heroes, it's the kinds of people that get up every single morning and face what they're feeling and go through the day with a certain degree of compassion, love for other people while working on themselves. So you are wonderful. You are acknowledged and loved by me. And I hope this helped you guys. Okay. I hope to see you soon. Bye, guys, and happy tea. Bye, everyone.